There's a lot of misinformation floating around on what the patch 7.26 actually did for balance. So in this video we're going to briefly examine what the new patch means, why certain heroes like Lone Druid, Visage, Alchemist and Lycan are now quite a bit stronger, so let's get into this.
Lessons that cannot be unlearned.
So I know I'm a bit late to the party, but there was just so much misinformation floating around about this patch that I just felt I had to make a video. So, what are the changes in this patch? Attributes no longer provide magic resistance, spell amp, and movement speed. Gold bounties reduced by 10%. For these specific things, not for everything, it's for buildings, lane creeps, neutrals, and hero kills. And kill streak gold is reduced by 50%. First of all, the last one, that pretty much everyone's happy with that change. The streak goal was a bit insane, so it's good that they're toning this down a bit. Not many implications for balance here. So let's talk about these other two big changes. So attributes are now just across the board worse. This means that heroes who have a lot of attribute gain, heroes like Terrorblade, like Phantom Lancer, like Nature's Prophet, are going to be a bit weaker. And also, items that provide stats are going to be weaker, which also means that heroes who like to buy these items, such as Phantom Lancer, such as Terrorblade, are going to be weaker because the items they like are now nerfed. Conversely, this means that heroes that have poor attribute gain and heroes that just don't rely on attributes are going to be stronger. So, prime example of this is Lone Druid. His Spirit Bear doesn't have attributes. So this just doesn't affect Lone Druid. So the badge is going to be quite a bit stronger compared to heroes. This is also a buff for other summon-based heroes. So Visage, for example, his Familiar is just going to be just as strong as before, whereas all these heroes are going to be slightly weaker. Consider the movement speed, for example. Losing this bonus from agility means that in the mid-game most heroes are going to lose like 5 or 10 movement speed, and if you look at hero balance changes, if a hero gets plus 5 movement speed or minus 5 movement speed, that's actually not insignificant, and if you give 10 movement speed or take away 10 movement speed, that's a pretty significant buff or nerf. So if you apply this nerf across the board to all heroes, that's the same as, or equivalent to, buffing all these summons to still move at the old rate. This also means that abilities that set your movement speed at a particular point are going to be stronger. So Lycan with his ultimate gets 650 movement speed, same as before, whereas everyone else who he's chasing is going to be slightly slower now, so a buff to Lycan. One interesting implication is that they're removing the magic resistance from strength and the spell amp from int, which for a lot of heroes who deal spell damage in the form of magic damage kind of evens out. So they do slightly less damage, but also their targets take slightly more damage because the targets have less magic resistance. But this does not even out for abilities that deal physical damage or pure damage. So for a hero like Bristleback who deals physical spell damage, or Timbersaw who deals pure spell damage, they're going to just do slightly less damage, which is not compensated for by anything. Now let's take a look at the gold bounties. Reduced by 10%. A lot of people were interpreting this as just everything gives 10% less gold. This is not true. So what people were saying was, it just means that now the game is just slowed down by 10%. Everything's going to take 10% longer, they said. Or the slightly more mathematically astute people said everything is going to take 11.1 repeating percent longer. But that's not true. First of all, XP gain is still going to be the same. And there's also lots of forms of gold that were not reduced. So tick gold is still going to give just as much gold. Bounty runes are nerfed. Killing summons still going to give the same gold. Killing Helmel Dominator creeps, still the same gold. So what this change means is there's going to be a bit more of an equalization. Everyone gets less gold, but carries lose more than supports do. Some people were saying that this means that the game is going to be slowed down, therefore these hyper carries who get in the late game are going to be stronger. Slower game, these carries get stronger. Seems logical, right? Except no. these carries don't get stronger just because the time on the clock increases. They get stronger because as the game goes on, they get more items. But now they get those items slower. So no, this is not a buff to hyper carries, rather the opposite. It's a buff to heroes who are strong at fighting, at pushing and taking objectives in the mid game. Because now these heroes have slightly more time to use their strength in the mid game to take objectives and just end the game before these hyper carries come online. For example, imagine you're playing Lone Druid against Anti-Mage. Lone Druid is considered a counter to Anti-Mage, not because you can hunt him down and kill him, but just because he comes online earlier in the mid game. He can just take all these objectives, he has excellent building damage, and he just forces Anti-Mage to fight sooner than Anti-Mage is comfortable with. And now, this mid-game period where Lone Druid is strong enough to take all the objectives, but Anti-Mage is not strong enough to fight back yet, just lasts slightly longer. This change is also a buff to heroes who depend more on experience than on items. So a hero like Invoker is very level dependent, but in terms of items, not so much. It doesn't really matter that much how many items you have on Invoker. It's more about the levels, so Invoker is buffed from this. Also a hero like Visage. You care a lot about levels. It's very important to get your birds up. It's important to get these upgrades at level 12 and level 18. That just makes your birds a lot stronger. But in terms of items, like, yeah, you care about items obviously, but you're really just buying these aura and utility items, and getting these online slightly slower is fine. It's more about getting your levels, getting your birds. That's what really makes you strong. Alchemist is going to get the same gold bonus from his passive, so that just means a buff to Alchemist, because yes, it's going to get less gold, but other heroes are going to get even less gold, so proportionally Alchemist comes out on top. Also, Alchemist has horrible stat gain. Like, look at this. This is the worst stat gain imaginable. So Alchemist also doesn't really buy stat items, so just on the whole, Alchemist is going to be quite a bit stronger. Of course, other summon and creep-based heroes, Chen, Beastmaster, and so on, are also going to be slightly strong in this new patch. So it's a great patch for the kind of heroes that I like to play and I like to show on this channel. Just illusion heroes in general are going to be a bit worse, because they're usually very stat-based, and stats got nerfed, and also the illusions still give the same amount of gold bounty if you kill them. So illusion heroes across the board are just going to be slightly weaker than they used to be. So those are my thoughts on the new patch. By the way, I really like this new idea that they have, that they just have these big systemic changes that they're going to introduce in this patch, and then they're going to separate out the various balance changes to heroes and items. I quite like that approach, because usually you get like one big patch where there's a bunch of major systemic changes, but also, you know, dozens of changes to heroes and items and so on, and all gets muddled together. So I kind of like this new approach of just separating those two out. And also just from a design perspective, I like that they're removing these incidental bonuses that you got with these attributes. As I feel like there's like too much muddled together in Dota design at the moment. There's like all these abilities and Ice and Zone that just give you so many little small things, which I think it's better to focus on some central ideas here. Like strength gives you HP, it gives you HP regen. That's it. That's a lot simpler from a design perspective, and I like that. I want to give a big thanks to 12Sevven, who made the cool new intro video that you saw in this video. The next video on this channel is going to be an analysis of the recent OG Secret series, coming up very, very soon. And if you don't want to miss that, please subscribe to this channel, ring the bell so you get notified when I post that video. And as always, I hope Obolos will watch over you, and I'll see you next time.